Yeah, no, I thought I was going to introduce to you to something I do at home quite frequently these days, and that's the hamsphere 3 and the hamsphere 4. I got quite fed up of all the QRM on HF, so I threw my 450D up to my favourite shop there, and I bought myself that nice receiver, or as I call it, that racky heaver, and decided to do most of my talking on here, partly due to the high noise level here. Can't hear anything on HF anymore anyway. Anyway, I'm running this particular thing on the blue microphone. This is the blue microphone, and that works actually very well. The only thing I will say with the blue microphone is that I'm going to call this video Hamsphere with the aid of a blue microphone, is that very often when you plug them into a Windows 10 PC they won't work. They come up with an error. And go onto the internet and there is a patch you have to download. You go on to try and see if I can find my pad in a minute. There's a patch you have to download for it. I don't know if I remember what it is now. I probably won't even be able to find it, but I went onto YouTube and there is a patch that you download for it, and what I'll try and do is try to find out what it is, and then you'd be able to do it yourself if you had the same problem. I'm just trying to find out how I flipping remember it now. The trouble is I get confused about what is on the computer and what isn't. History, that's it. I'm just trying to remember who I did it with now. Yeah, well, I can't remember what it was now. But there's oh, now the bloody thing's gone off colour. Yeah, it's gone green now. It's funny, you move the bloody microphone, it bloody changes colour completely. Move the machine, that goes completely different colour. Anyway, so you download the patch, which comes from, oh, I can't remember, cn.net or whatever it's called. I can't remember now. And basically it's a little program that allows Windows 10 to use this microphone. So if you put on YouTube, blue microphone doesn't work with Windows 10, look for the one that tells you how to download the update for the microphone. Some people will suggest updating your drivers on your sound card. That will not do it. There's a patch, it begins with the letter A and a load of numbers. You download that and you turn off your computer. Unfortunately, I can't remember what I did with the piece of paper with it written on, I don't think. I'll see if I can find it. And no, I just haven't got it here. I just haven't got it. I've probably thrown it away by mistake. Unless... Hang on, it might be on the desktop. Hang on a minute. Let's shrink that down. Oh, yeah. I managed to find it, actually. So what we'll do is we'll just move the radio over. There's a patch that you download from, and it's called ASI's O4ALLV2 it's called. If you put that on, I'll say it again, it's ASIO, or India Sierra Italy Oscar 4 Alpha Lima Lima. If you put that down onto there and just put blue microphone and put that ASIO4ALL, I'll do it in phonetics again, Alpha Sierra Italy Oscar 4 Alpha Lima Lima. It will take you to the website and you'll be able to download it. When you download it, install it, turn off your computer. That's what I did. Plug the microphone in, restart the computer, and the microphone would just be working straight away. And apparently I've been told it's a bug with Windows 10. It's not actually the microphone, it's not even the sound card, it's the operating system. So a lot of people with the blue microphones, even the Yeti microphones, they're knocking around with their sound card. What they don't realise is they change the sound card drivers and muck around with it. When they restart the computer, it will restore to default what the computer was originally done with. So you'll just have the same problem again. So, but if you download that patch, as I call it, that little file that corrects the fault in Windows 10, that will solve the problem. And being deaf, I use a pair of headphones, and they need to listen to us while you don't hear anything. Because I just find those computer head speakers that it's all middle, there's no top, I just can't hear anything coming out of those. So, and I find online speech programs don't always have a lot of range auditorily. Hamsphere hasn't got a very good audio range. If you're a bit mutt, most people find it okay, but I find it really difficult. So I wear a pair of headphones, so I find it easier. And I switch the filter on to narrow, and that gives it a little bit more, a bit sharper audio, so it's easier for me to hear it. So that's what I'm using at the moment. I also use my microphone, well, my other microphone, if I want to decode Morse to do anything on that receiver, or as I call it, that racky heaver. That receiver came from Radio World. I've had that a couple of weeks. Works actually quite well. The VFO knob is a little bit of a joystick. There's plenty of play on it. They have been told about it, Texan, but they never seem to do anything about it. What they need to do is make a custom built VFO for it with a metal shaft. This one has got a plastic shaft on it, and I don't think it's badly made, it's just because it's plastic and it's just very wavy, and which is a pity because the radio's fine. And then they got a crappy bloody tuning encoder in it, which and also the filters could be narrower. It could do with 3 filters. It's got 10, I think it's 10 and 6 if it had a 3, and a 0.5 it had 4 filter width, which there's no reason that couldn't have been done with an audio filter. It would have been fine. And the set hasn't been updated since 2007. That's 10 years. I think to add another speaker, make it slightly bigger and add another speaker and a couple of extra filters and a voice recorder would really bring that up to spec. And they could keep the same shape and the same look. It's fine. It's a timeless look. And they call it the Texan 3K. And I'm sure people would buy it. If it was another £50–60, they would. If it was a lot more than that, they probably wouldn't. Say if it was $350, I'd be willing to pay that. But I wouldn't pay any more than that. And anyway, this quite works. A lot of people say hamsphere is not real radio, but, well, I talk all over the world. I was just talking to a guy in Canada that used to live in Southern Ireland. I used to live in Ireland myself, and he lives just down the road from my brother. And there's a number of people I spoke from in Canada that actually live not very far in Ontario where my brother lives. I couldn't do that on HFs, particularly with the noise here. Here I'm only allowed an indoor aerial. I've got a 124-foot loop, end-fed, which is what I use for my shortwave. But it is noisy. There is a lot of electrical noise in the town because I'm right in the middle of a town as well. And HF's not really viable. Once you get outside the town, it's okay, but you come in the town, you can't hear anything. So I just got fed up of I could hear the strong stations, but I couldn't hear anyone else because the noise was on a 9. If I pushed the IPO, it went to a 7 or a 6. I still couldn't hear anything below it. So, and having an indoor aerial, your signals are going to be low. and the noise is high. I caught the signal was low and the noise was high, so you couldn't hear anything anyway. So that was my excuse for doing it this way. Hoping to use perhaps Zello and perhaps International Radio Network, which is another one I'm planning on using. But anyway, that's a little introduction to what I do at the moment. I'm doing a bit of hamsphere with this blue microphone, pair of headphones. The speakers work, but they sound very boxy, very middle. They're Logitech, so I would have thought they would have been better than that. So I may get a better pair of speakers at some point. One thing that would be interesting is whether that blue microphone works on an Android device. Maybe somebody could let me know that, because I would be very interested to know if this would work on an Android device, because I'm thinking of getting one of those pads, and I've even been thinking about getting one of those network radios, but I won't be able to see the screen on those. They're 4 inches the biggest, but I ain't got really good eyesight. I won't be able to read the text on it. So I think the minimum for me would be about 7 or 8 inches. 7, 8. Certainly no smaller than 7. So 8 would be ideal. So I may be doing it that way, rather than doing it on this Papa Charlie here, PC. Anyway, bye-bye everyone. I hope to be able to do a bit of talking on this, rig up this microphone to a tripod, if I can find that busted tripod out I got, and then do a conversation on here using that microphone, using the speakers, even though that would be difficult for me, and hoping that you can see how it all works. So 73s, or as they say in the radio world, bye-bye 73s, it means they're going. And if it's in more says da-da-da-da-da-da-da, which SK means they're going, 73 SK. And then people do 2 E's on the end. I don't know why I'm not quite sure why that's done. So it's 73 da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then some people do dit, or they do SK da-da-da-da-da-da. And Morse has always interested me, being a bit nut. I find it a lot easier. So anyway, bye-bye. Thank you very much from the Nutt-house.